very special guest on. His name is Tommy Davidson from GTT Homes. And man, he's going to share a lot of really in-depth things about what's going on in his marketplace down in Rutherford County. But really what's pretty awesome about this guy is how he has already matched his production this year with his team compared to all of last year. So he's going to tell us how he did it just in a few minutes. Go big or go home, baby. All right. Welcome, everyone. It's a happy Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday here in Nashville, Hendersonville, Tennessee. And my good friend Tommy Davidson is all the way down yonder in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. But he's got a very unique marketplace because he does quite a diversified way of doing real estate down there. He has some builder relationships. He does it the good old-fashioned way by calling raw leads, and in general, he just keeps his nose to the grindstone and actually has his. If some of you haven't seen it already, you should definitely plug into his morning grind, where he will talk about anything and everything, which makes him totally unique in itself. Basically, just talking about life, to what games you might want to check into on football, his weekly football picks, to real estate. He is a person of interest that we want to get to learn more about very quickly. So as we always do on these live Facebook events, we want to have you engage with us and ask questions. So I'm going to ask him a few questions so you can kind of get to know him real quickly. And then we want to dive right into your questions and pick his brain on what you would like to know that could help you in your personal business, help you if you're getting ready to buy a home, if you're a first-time home buyer, or if you're a second or third-time home buyer. What's kind of going on in the marketplace? It's definitely a seller's market. How are you winning bids? There's a lot of frustrated buyers out there that are having trouble winning bids. Maybe he can give a few tips and tricks on that. But without further ado, let's bring in Tommy Davidson to our quick show. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. Appreciate you being here, my friend.
And it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here, James. Looking forward to it.
Well, we got quite a few listeners already plugging in, and I'm sure we'll have some more as we start really getting going here. But first of all, let's talk about what's your real mission with Good Time Tommy Homes?
We're really built around three key principles, and that's to build commitment, courage, and confidence. I'm here to help lead people to develop into the best version of themselves. So a lot of my teaching is about the inner engineering of becoming a more productive person. Then the day I ask people to do a lot, ask a lot of commitment. They do a lot of things that scare them, but my hope is they do it, which the result they get is they build a lot of confidence. So it's really not a real estate specific thing. It's a whole person strategy.
Yeah, I love that. And so just for our audience here, Tommy has approximately 16 people on his team right now, of which 8, and correct me if I'm wrong here, of which 8 of those team members have been less than a year in the business.
It's some or a year here. It's we got a lot of young people here. We got a lot of young guys, young girls, and I really enjoy that type of atmosphere working with the young folks, because I made a lot of mistakes. I wish I could go back and change it. So my gift today is to give to them a shortcut. How do you not do what I did?
Love that. Love that. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, giving back is, makes everything just seem so much, more, energizing with what I even do every day. I mean, I think you and I are a lot of the same. We like to take somebody that's got the skill set and train them the business. Would you agree with that?
I love doing that. That's my job now. Is I don't produce. I've been out of production for a while. So my main job is to teach, it's to coach, it's to lead. That's my number one responsibility.
Well, one of his, so here's one of the stats that I think is pretty phenomenal. That's a great testament to what you're doing out there in the marketplace when we have a lot of agents that says, oh, I'm just really struggling right now. Oh, I don't have any buyer leads. Oh, my business is down because there's no homes for sale. Here, let me just share this with you. In last year, in 2020, Tommy and his team did 45 million in volume for the entire year, which is about a good 50-50 mix of buying versus listings. Already this year, now take note of this, already this year he is crushing it. 45 million already this year to date, which is what he did all of last year. That doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen just by luck. It happens by really keeping your nose to the grindstone, having a system in place. And part of that, I want to talk to you real quickly about is calling, follow-up, engagement. How do you really stress that to your team? And what are some of the things that you, if you're on the Good Time Tommy team, that you try to make sure that they do on a daily basis?
Well, everything's built on those three things: courage, commitment, confidence. So you're going to have to do things you're not comfortable doing. And the way I can tell if you're going to make it here or not is if you're willing to confront those fears. People talk a lot until it's time to call. Then they find excuses. So it's so much here about confronting fear and moving forward, even though they don't want to do it. So our mission statement is to be committed. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you can't commit to calling and do those things, you're not going to be able to commit to yourself and achieve the life that you want. So everything here is tracked. We've got a system of software where everything is measured, and I know every single day I come in like I know right now. Let me get on here, James. Let me see what these people have done today.
Talk to me.
I'll get on here and I can start bitching now. Ain't nobody calling.
Everybody's watching you. Everybody's watching you. They can't call when they're watching the boss man.
So yeah, I know what they're doing. I'm checking. How often do I check on y'all? Well, I don't know if they're. I don't know.
About every 8 minutes.
I'm always because I want those guys and those girls to hit 50 calls a day. That's their target. I believe in hitting targets. You've got to have targets.
What do you think the number one fear is when you make a call? Is it hearing the word no? Is it being hung up on? Is it being yelled at? What gives them more confidence to keep making those calls? I mean, obviously the dollar signs, but what starts giving that energy to where there's no longer any fear? Anything that you can suggest there?
It's a muscle. You got to come in and build it. Like I just started playing golf. How can I get better playing golf?
Yeah.
I got to build the muscle. The reason why people don't want to do it is they don't want to have to look at themselves like a failure, because it's a hard game. The calling, that's a hard game, because if you look at the stats, 1% conversion is what you're looking at. If you get good, you get to 2%. If you get really, really good, you get up to about 4%. So most of the time, people do not like the way they feel when they fail. It's something you got to overcome by building that muscle.
Well, one of the things I think you kind of said very clearly is you have to be uncomfortable being comfortable. You have to be uncomfortable trying to be comfortable with what you're doing, and or being uncomfortable being uncomfortable. I mean, that's also true.
Well, again, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you're scared, if you have fear, sooner or later, it's going to prevent you from going to another level. So around here, it's very unorthodox. It ain't for everybody. Not many people can come do this.
Yeah.
I don't think many people could work here. They just would not be able to understand the things, the principles, but I also don't think they understand the honor code that we have here. New people start out doing things that they don't want to do. Somebody's cleaning bathrooms, somebody's taking out trash. There's an honor system here that we talk about, and because you've got to leave this job that you're in for somebody else better. And if you're not good at this job, you're not going to be good at your next job. So I want people to elevate here, but I also want them to understand the honor system. We believe in the honor.
Yeah, and so if somebody is sitting on the sidelines right now, we've had a crazy year with COVID and lots of unknowns, people trying to re-navigate their life as to what they want to do next, what they think they can do. Maybe they're being forced to do something different. If they're thinking about getting in the real estate market and they want to call Good Time Tommy, and we'll talk about how you got that name here in a second. We've talked about that on our podcast in the past. What do you think is something that you can give as advice if you are thinking about wanting to get into the real estate market? Because just like in the lending business, everybody kind of wants to be a loan officer, or everybody wants to be a realtor, but maybe don't know how to get started, or they really need to understand more about what they're getting into.
Well, I believe this industry, our industry is changing just like yours is. You're going to have a special skill that will allow you to get business. And the skill path that I have chosen has been to dominate the sales part of it. I feel like my guys are better than anybody on the phone. And when they're really good on the phone, that's going to transfer to when they're in front of people. So I think you're going to have to become a great salesperson. And around here, we don't talk you into buying something. That's not what sales is. Sales is helping you.
How often do you do role playing and scripting?
Every day.
I think that builds muscle memory for sure.
You got to do it. If it's worth doing one time, you need to do it every day. So we've got these always around here. We always show up at 8:15. We're always here at 8:30 for the morning grind. At 9 o'clock, we always role play. And you can ask my guys if they're on here, how long does it take to get rusty? If you don't role play every day, I would say you end up sucking. So if you don't have always, they turn into nevers. So we always do it. That's part of be committed. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
All right, so we have one segment of your business, which is basically cold calling, and then you have another segment of your business, which is your builder relationships. Then we have another maybe segment of your business, which is people, agents, and realtors just doing what a lot of the others do in the state, and that is just going out and doing the right thing, branding themselves and branding the team and getting referrals the old-fashioned way. What do you think is your secret sauce for, really doubling your growth already this year?
People.
What really kicked it into gear from last year doing 45 million to already doing 45 million this year? What did something fundamentally change, or was it just the consistency?
It was the consistency, but it's the people. You got to have people. There's too many people out there that don't want to put any risk into their business. And the last couple of years, I've put up a lot of risk to get us to the level. I mean, I want to get to 1,000 homes. That's the target I want us to get to. And the only way we're going to get there is by duplicating what works and risking more. So a lot of people aren't going to do that. They just think they can work harder. I don't tell people the work harder thing around here. I want you to be committed. I want you to be creative. So I feel like laziness speaks when you say you just got to work hard. Just telling somebody to work hard does not really teach them anything. So I think we started a process about 1.5 years ago where we committed to calling, we committed to role playing, we committed to We committed to growing. We committed to expansion, and over time, it starts to pay off. But it takes a while. Everything you do is going to take about a year to pay off. I am convinced. Or maybe I'm just dumb and slow, but it takes me about a year to see the payoff.
All right. So what keeps Tommy motivated today?
I keep raising my targets. One time, my goal was 100 houses, and that didn't change my life very much. I've got this vision of Tommy at 60. I'll be 48 in a week. So I see Tommy at 60, and me and my wife down on 30A. I've got this vision, and doing 100 deals ain't going to get me there. Doing 200 deals ain't going to get me there. What I want in my life requires a bigger target. So whenever I've hit these targets, I'm very, my life hadn't changed enough. So like whenever you thought making X amount of dollars, your life would change, but it didn't change enough.
Yeah.
No, it didn't change enough. I don't have an airplane, or I don't have a place in Florida like the Super Coach. Getting exposed to those type of things, that's what it continues to push me.
I wonder if Super Coach is on here. I don't know if he's piped in or not. I don't know.
He's in Vegas. He probably went back to bed.
So we're talking about Coach Michael Burt. We're both a part of his program, and he's been a fantastic mentor and coach that's helps take you to the next level. And if there's one thing that we can both share together is everybody needs a coach in life. That's one of his big sayings. And whether that's Coach Michael Burt or some other coach in your life, you need somebody that also pushes you. And there's no doubt that Tommy has his own coach that helps keep him on track and helps keep him down the straight and narrow as well. And it's just very, very important. All right. So let's jump into some questions. We got some great viewership today. Joshua, tell us our first question for Mr. Davidson. What is the secret to overcoming objections? GTT from Hayden. What is the secret to overcoming objections?
To have a system where you duplicate it to where they're always the same. We do them the same way every single time. It doesn't matter what the objection is. We listen, acknowledge, isolate, validate, then we close. We do that.
Let's say that. Let's say that really slow because I'm slow. Listen, acknowledge, and overcome, right?
Listen, acknowledge, isolate the objection, then isolate. So too many people, for example, hear an objection or a complaint that really, how often do you bitch and complain about something, but you still do it? You probably bitched and complained about getting up this morning and having to go do something. But as humans, we complain about things, but salespeople get nervous and they start solving complaints. And it's like you're swimming uphill. You just die. You drowned in overcoming objection. So if you say something, I might just say something as simple as, would it stop you from buying it? Would it stop you from doing it? But the number one step that we build here is you got to force yourself to listen. Most people don't listen, and stay calm and stay patient. And then where you convince people, you don't change people's minds with information. You change their attitude first. So if I can get you by acknowledging, hey, I completely understand why you feel that way, James. By that right there, that drops your guard. I don't need to go into changing your mind. And then I want to make sure I'm trying to solve the number one problem, or the problem that's stopping you from moving forward. Is this the only thing? Is there anything else? So
yeah, a lot of people just have a hard time, as we both know. We just got to help clear their confusion. It's not that they're not interested in making a decision with you or your product or my product or whatever. We just haven't properly cleared their confusion so that they can make a decision. It's not a personal attack on Tommy or James or whoever's pitching or trying to win that business. It's they just don't know enough to be able to make a decision. What do you think about that?
A lot of times they don't know, and a lot of times they won't say anything because they just don't know. So good salespeople, you'll hear questions is what controls sales. The most important thing is getting answers. So I'll ask somebody a question around here and they don't answer it. I just keep asking the same question until I get the answer. So
yeah,
are you
I love that.
ask hard questions. So too many salespeople don't ask enough hard questions. So these are the things we drill, we practice, we rehearse every single day. You get rusty one day.
I think, and one of the things I always say is it's easy always to pick your marbles up and leave. You know, why do people pick up their marbles so fast and leave a conversation? As soon as they hear anything, they don't hear, they hear something negative, and they say, okay, that must be the end of the conversation. I'm out. Let's pick up my marbles. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And in all actuality, what you're saying is that's when you really need to ask more questions.
Sales don't start until there's a problem. If there was not an objection, you had already done it. So I've got to figure out why are you not doing this? What do you know or what do you not know? Because some people get bad information from people that they trust, and that's their opinion. So I don't try to change their mind. I just try to get people to understand and accept mental ownership. That's good.
That's so good. So good. Next question. How should you be handling yourself as an agent to set yourself, apart from other agents? So what is your uniqueness that makes you different in your branding and what you do is what I'm kind of gathering from
to be who you are. That's what makes me unique. We're both humans, but we're both different. I'm Tommy, you're James. What makes me different than you? Well, at 35 years old, I was going broke because of the recession. Had to move in with my mama. The one thing that changed my life at 35 years old was the first time I got into and understood commitment. Commitment changed my life. So who you are as a person is who you need to be putting out to the marketplace. You don't need to just brand yourself as a realtor, because people buy from people that they know, they like, they trust, and they connect with. So I'm a failure. You know, almost went broke. I need to put that out there because there's people in the failure column that would be attracted to me.
Yeah.
I am a teacher. I am a coach. I'm a big Notre Dame fan. I've got all these things that I try to put them into a vertical order, and I talk about those things. I own a dog, Lucky. I'm married to my wife, Brittany. She owns a boutique store here in town. We've got a son. So I'm all of these things. All of these things are what makes me unique, and it's whatever I'm talking about is going to attract the people that are in that vertical.
So do you think a lot of agents are scared to get into that lane, lane of being what we call being vulnerable?
I think a lot of agents just don't know. They haven't been trained. I think they suck. And they don't know any better because they've come into this industry and nobody has really broken this stuff down to help them. So they just get out there and they talk about what makes sense in their mind. And if I hadn't gone through so many coaches that has helped me do this, I would be doing the same thing. You know, I just got back from the number one agent in the country. I went to his mastermind in Orlando last weekend. And, you know, the one thing that's going to separate everybody is going to be their brand. But it should not be a real estate specific brand. It should be who you are as a person brand.
Do we have any questions from buyers with, and while we're looking for one of those questions, let's switch horses a little bit real quick as to some of the challenges going on with, you know, buyers trying to be able to find homes. What, as in the lending business, I always say, if we got 15 pre-qualification letters that are on a white piece of paper, what makes us orange? And so share some of that and how you can become orange. And I'm not saying orange is because that's Tennessee's colors or anything like that. Are
you asking how can we just like win deals? Is that what
separate yourself out? Yeah. How do you separate if there's 10 offers on the table? How do you help your client be the winner?
This is where I think people got to become better salespeople. You'd be amazed at how many offers we get on one of our listings where they don't even call. They send it over. Their offer is based all in the information that I receive from them. So the way we teach over here, the weatherman, Stephen Weathers, is the best in the business at winning multiple offers. He'll call up the other agent and he'll figure out through that dialogue through conversation, through instinct, what he's got to do to win that deal for his client. Then he can take it back to his client, and his client can make the decision. But too many agents don't do this. They don't ask the hard questions. They think they're trying to protect their client, but what if their client really wants to win? What they really want that house, and you give them enough information to where they don't know. So we're always looking for ways to give the client certainty. James, if you want this house, you're going to have to do $20,000 above, waive the appraisal fee, which means you're going to have to come out of pocket that money and waive the home inspection. Is this something that you could justify doing, or would you rather find something else?
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing that we're trying to do.
What would you do, James? What would you do? So that would make you answer the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were directly asking me a question.
No, that's how we would do it.
Yeah.
Whenever we ask them a question, we would make them, you got to make them answer it.
Yeah. And one of the things we're doing on the lending side is how can we advocate for that client on behalf of the listing agent? How can we promote and get some of the information about that borrower to the listing agent, whether it's through the buyer's agent or directly with the listing agent, so that helps kind of put them to the front of the line on their pre-qualification?
Well, here's what it's going to take. I mean, the seller really cares about what? The most money, highest probability of it closing. So if you've got more trust with the client than the agent does, you could call up the agent, the listing agent, and ask them, what do we need to do to get this?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to switch horses just on that particular point. We had, I'm going to use my mother as an example. When she got multiple offers on her house, when she was up in Indiana before she moved down here, one of the things that she was super sensitive about was her garden and how important her garden was and all the time and energy she put into her garden. And she just didn't want that to be, destroyed by the next buyer coming in, even though she's not going to be living there. Mm-hmm. So it just so happened that this particular buyer that wanted her house wrote her a love letter, if you will, or a home buying love letter, and how much they really loved her garden. And that separated that particular buyer out from any other offer she got. And she I don't even remember, she might have even taken a little bit less, but it was because that pulled on her heartstrings.
Yeah. Well, I look at that as an outlier. I mean, at the end of the day, most people don't have a garden. Most people don't care. Most people want the most money. And, I mean, the agent could have told the other agent, who knows how that deal went down. So Stephen may call up an agent and ask, hey, what's the most important thing that you need to take our offer? There's a lot of back behind the scenes stuff that's going on if you ask good questions. So who knows? I mean, why did they specifically pick that garden? Maybe your mother's agent knew that was important and then told one of those agents that actually called. But you'd be amazed at how many agents aren't communicating like me and you are right now. A lot of them are texting and they're emailing, and those people aren't really, if the offers are even, they're not going to be considered. You haven't even called me. How I want people that are committed to their client. That means calling. Hell, you may have to come over here and talk to us. Too many agents aren't committed to getting the job done.
All right, what's our next question? We got just a couple more, and then we're going to cut it off here. How do you come up with content for the morning grind? Whoa, the morning grind. If the listeners haven't heard the morning grind, what time is the morning grind on every morning, Tommy?
8:30.
8:30, and you're going to hear a little bit of everything on the morning grind.
Yeah. My content is what I observe, what I live through, what I see, what I hear. It's just my life. It's what I've struggled with. I'm very open about being broke. I'm very open about having no skills. I'm very open about just not believing in myself for so long until
self-confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very open about those things. And, if you're going to build a brand around what people are interested in. If I'm just going to get up here and say, hey, we're going to sell 227 homes this year, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. People, maybe they haven't enjoyed that success, but we've all suffered pain. We can all relate to that. So I just like to talk about things that are deep. They're deep thoughts. They're very transparent. I'm very vulnerable. And, I'll talk about if I'm struggling with my wife. I'll talk about if I'm struggling with Nick. I'll talk about all these things because this brings more awareness to me and how I can become better for me.
Awesome. Well, I've listened in, plugged in many times, many mornings. Obviously, and it's always good to just have you be, vulnerable, and I think that's really what people plug into, and that's awesome. All right, so I think that is all we have here, my friend. You have been so awesome to be on here. We appreciate your time. Always great chatting with you. It's super easy to chat with you. We could go on for a lot longer. How do people reach out to you if they either want to maybe get in the real estate business, or hey, they want to buy a home? How do they get in touch with you?
The easiest place to find me is on that Facebook link right there. Visit my it's just Good Time Tommy on Facebook right there. That's the easiest way. That's probably the fastest way to get my attention. Is if I know you're supporting me, I'll do whatever I can to help you. So that's my email address on there, which I don't even read emails. So if you send me an email, I don't even know if I'll read it. So the Facebook page is probably GTT Homes. That's the website. So just follow me at Good Time Tommy, or the Facebook Good Time Tommy. And every morning at 8:30, I do a live stream just like this, talking about real stuff.
Well, we appreciate it, buddy. Have a great day. Enjoy this Thursday and have a good weekend. We appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, go big or go home, man.
Go big or go home, baby.
See
Thank
you.
you.